the party agents and also the EC, we had different results. The NDC won, the NPP also said they won. So how was that possible?
So that is equally their problem that they had at the polling stations.
Okay.
Because when at the polling station, there are political party agents. At the polling stations, there are NGOs, or let me say CSOs, where NGOs who are actually observers. Yet at the polling station, we equally have EC officers, who are there managing the whole process. We have media, who is also there. So at that place, when elections are closed there, the sheets are signed and duplicates given to all the party as officers. And so it's the same thing, and they all follow it throughout to the collation center. So when you go there, all you need to do is just to pull. But what they do is that some also go to doctor their results, and then it does not actually reflect on what EC has. So that is actually the challenge we are all having here. So EC have the same results, but you realize that even when they go to the contest, or where there were red flags, or some of them started asking questions, EC asked that, okay, Party A, NDC, NPP, bring us your pink sheets.
Okay.
And they are all hiding it. Why is it that they are not bringing it? Some, I quite remember when you got to one of the polling stations, I mean, when they were at the police the Ghana Police Training School, one party brought their sheets, the other says, I will not bring it. So the EC brought their pin sheet, Party A brought their pin sheet, Party B says, I will not bring mine, but I've won. How possible can you win without a pink sheet? And so the challenge we have is that people are ignorant, and then the party executive or the party, political parties also deliberately incite their members to cause some of these things. And I mean, the Ghana police sometimes, I feel they failed us in a way. Was during the coalition, or I mean after the election, the Ghana police presence was very low. And it actually affected these exercises. Was if the Ghana police were enough at those places and they were there well prepared to manage these ballots and all those issues, people wouldn't have political party members and executives without tax or accreditation, wouldn't have had the chances to go in there to cause this mayhem. So it is the EC actually is in line, of which based on that, the EC went to the court, the other political party, NPP, went to the court and said, okay, so we believe per the rate, the mandomos or something, I've forgotten exactly. We believe that the EC, the meaning is that the EC has an obligation by law to put together all results and then prepare a pink sheet for all of us to sign. As at now, EC says they are finished with their job, whereby some have actually declared. But we believe that we, per the law, we have not received the final pink sheet.
Okay.
And this is because EC have not collated some, or he is not done with the duty the Constitution gave it. So the court should give or instruct him to go and complete the job he's supposed to do. That is pure the meaning of it. The political parties were all there. They submitted their evidence that, oh, the EC is done. The EC was also questioned. He realized that, I mean, they were not done because the evidence wasn't right or is not clear, so they have to quickly go back.
Okay.
The court has to grant that they should go and do their work back.
Standing on evidence.
Yes.
Let's go back to Ablekuma North.
Yeah.
Currently, we know 62 polling stations are outstanding. The results from these polling stations are outstanding because the ballot papers, pink sheets, ballot boxes have been destroyed. We all saw videos, you know, online and others. Now, the NPP has come out to say they have 25 soft copies of these 62 polling station results. The NDC has none. The EC has none. How do you think this collation is going to be done? I'm very, very much interested in that because one party has 25, and even with that, it's a soft copy. And some have even said the handwriting in these soft copies are the same. So how then do we have the same handwriting for 25 polling stations, unless maybe they all use the same my first copy book?
That is an allege.
Yes. Allegedly.
Yes.
So I'm just saying, how do you think the collation is going to be done?
You see, for the parties to say they do not have pink sheets, there's they are being economical with the truth.
We saw the distraction of these equipment. And,
yes, but this is how the electoral process goes.
Yeah.
When all the parties have copies, both hard and soft, because all the parties were prepared enough to even build systems that right after the ballots, they send their results straight to their own strong rooms. That is why they base on their soft evidence to be able to do their own collation, and then the vice president was able, the NDC realized they had won, the vice president conceded. The party officers who were aligned or assigned to the very important, how do I call it, polling stations, these places, those officers have the pink sheets. So it may be the EC's pink sheet or those materials would have been destroyed. But then they know if you won, you know you've won. If you also lost, you know you've lost. So they all know, they all have it. So if possible, I mean, they are all seeing that the possibility of it being going, I mean, they going for another election will favor. So true. That is the game the political parties are playing. That's the reality.
I'll come back to
they all have it.
But let me remind our viewers that this is Poll Watch, another edition of Poll Watch here on Clock TV, and we are discussing issues surrounding, you know, post-elections, and we will also be touching on the State of the Nation's address that was presented by President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo over the weekend, and also touch a little more, you know, on the pivotal events happening today and tomorrow. I'm talking about the swearing in of 9th Parliament and also the President-elect John Dramani Mahama. So you'd have to stay with us because it promises to be an engaging conversation. Just as you have seen, my analyst is, you know, well poised to give us his take on these issues. You can also join the conversation as an analyst from your homes. Just as I said earlier, the WhatsApp number is being displayed on the screen. Send us your take on our conversations on the show, and we'll gladly read them out. Ask us any question, and our analyst is here to give his submissions to your questions as well. And so just as I said, you have to stay with us because intermittently the phone lines will also be open. Let me just say that the phone lines will be open, and so you can call us and tell us what you also think about that. Now later in the show we'll also be crossing over to our economic analyst who is in the United States of America, and he will also be sharing his take on the conversation. He is in the person of Professor William Kwesi Pepra, an associate professor of finance at Andrews University in the United States of America. And so it is a package. You have to stay with us. Randolph, let me come back to you. Now let's look at the stakeholders' responsibilities. Now the responsibility of EC. You kept on saying the EC has been fair, the EC has been, you know, transparent in its dealing before, during, and also after the elections. But it happens to be a contrary perception from the perspective of the audience or citizens. We see the EC as being manipulative. What's your take on that?
In fact, the political parties are rather manipulating the EC. The political parties are rather manipulating the EC to find their way out. This is because the EC is working with laws and processes. People were talking about the EC delaying on ballot. Okay. When you go to collation center to disrupt a process which involves numbers, were they expecting the EC to continue the collation?
But don't you also think we have come a long way to still be fidgeting with numbers as we are in a digitalized system?
Yes, the same thing. We'll get there at a time because we have evolved in our electoral process.
Yes.
But the political parties themselves know what they can do. And so they both will not even trust the process. You remember we were even coming to vote with... EC made the point that we should use the Ghana card to vote.
Yes.
It was, I mean, people know what they can do. And so, of course, they have to make sure that process wouldn't go on. We have to use the same. We also had
comments like the EC cannot do, simple arithmetics and other things.
No, it's not. See, the whole thing
because the delay looked as if it was absurd. Like
yes,
it was too long.
Yes.
What
so
is
those
keeping the
delay.
EC?
So you can do a piloting on it. The constituencies that delayed, you will realize that those were the constituencies they disrupted those places.
Okay.
Ablikuma West constituency, I mean, by that evening, everything was done. A lot of other constituencies, they finished. But then those they went to disrupt, September Central. If they are doing counting and you can't go, you cause all mayhem, are you expecting them that they should still be there? They'll pick their bag and they will go home and come the next day.
Right. So moving forward, what do you think are the reforms we can introduce?
In fact,
because it looks like it is becoming something that we are comfortable with. If we don't really take time, we will experience that in the next election. So what are the reforms you think?
In fact, we need a reform in our electoral system now. Whereas the manual process must be looked at again, and probably we're going into the digital space. Other countries are doing. US, Canada, why is it that when we are talking about making a country develop, we look at US? But then basic things in order to, give us peace and also to help our democracy or our democratic journey, we always fall back, and we have a kind of mistrust in the system, even in our own institutions. But then EC can go ahead, and even if we have to put together structures very well, we can have a digitalized elections, and we can be able to do that, where people can even see how the voting is being done. It is done elsewhere. We must be able to do it as a country. And I think that is a major thing. Else, you see, all that has happened. Some political parties actually hired land guards and all that, and were all packaged to do or cause all these mayhem. So if next time we're able to put structures in place, whereas you go to a booth, you just swap your card to vote, and you are done, you are gone. There's nobody to even, do anything, because it's a system.
But do you think, as a country, we are ready for such a reform?
You see, no country is ready for anything unless you start from somewhere. So we can give ourselves, from now up to the next 2 elections, in the next 8 years, we should have a very solid platform for our elections, and I think we can do it. Because we have gotten to a stage where digitalization is everything and everywhere, and as a country, we need to up our game. Else, we will always have to do this. Years ago, Ghana, our card that we're using for, we didn't have a picture on the voter ID card. There wasn't picture. But then, a ref came, and we had a picture, photo ID card. Those days, people just go and vote. A child can just go and vote. People will vote, and there were a lot of multiple voting. But since we brought this reform into having a picture on our phone, on our, on our ID card, it changed the dynamic. We also had at the time, we actually had a ballot box being opaque, where you cannot even see the ballot box. So before we even start voting, the box was, they were already starved.
Okay.
There were voted sheets already in the box before. But we have evolved from those stages to a stage where now you can stand as far as possible and you still see that our ballot box is empty.
Right.
And that brings some kind of integrity and trust in our electoral system. So I think that is okay. If we are able to put together things as a country and build a technological system and a security into our electoral system, it will give some credibility.
Right, thank you very much. Let me remind our viewers that the call line or the phone line is being opened, and also our WhatsApp number is not the call number, and so please take note of that. I've realized a lot of you are calling our WhatsApp number. That is not our call number, so just send your message to our WhatsApp number, and if you want to call, what you're seeing now on the screen is the call number, so you can call this number instead of the other if you want to speak to us. Now, Nana Asare will be joining us shortly, but let's still, sticking on matters arising. The national leadership of the New Patriotic Party have appointed Afenyo Markins, Honorable Afenyo Markins, who was the majority leader or still the majority leader, but will be handing over soon, to be their minority leader in Parliament. What's your take on that?
Okay, so I think it is true that the political parties are a vehicle through which the MPs they sit into the Parliament. But in our system of governance, it's something that we should, as a people, look at very well. Because if we let the political parties influence so many things in terms of even parliamentary leadership, it affects our democracy in a way. This has been a culture in our country for a very long time, where parties dictate to the parliament and all that. But then we have three arms of government.
Okay.
And so if we want our democracy to work or to function very well, we should, as a point, trust in the ability of the MPs to choose their own leadership. And when they do that, it makes whipping them into actions becomes very easy. Because we are in a state now where a political party can say, oh, I've nominated ABCD as a speaker. I've nominated this as a parliamentary leader. Okay. Meanwhile, it's illegal when you go into the law. It's illegal that, they will be dictated. It's an arm of government. They have their own power to now elect their own leadership. But
this is a party, the minority, for instance, is a political party before they became part of the arm of government. And so I think the leadership of that party have that sole responsibility of nominating whoever they think should be the minority or majority.
You see, parliamentary leadership, if we are to be very fair to ourselves as a country, how it is practiced is that it is the parliamentary or the parliamentarians, they choose who to be their leaders. So yes, we have divided ourselves into minority and majority, which we are actually experiencing now, where minority and majority, where a speaker is also now being chosen. But then if we are to go into the law, I believe that the law gives room to the MPs to nominate their own or elect their own leadership, because their mandate is to enact laws and also make all things possible for smooth running of the other governance systems to work.
Okay.
But then now both parties have actually trumped on this.
Okay. Let me take this comment. This is coming from Kamas Sadiq, and he's saying, please don't blame the EC. Don't blame the EC. Don't blame EC. The blame is for the parties, particularly the NDC. It is not true that they don't have any information. They are hiding the truth, but EC has the information. Thank you very much for bringing in your message as well. Hi, I am Stephanie. I'm watching you from Kaswa. Good job. Thank you very much for bringing in your message as well. We also have this. Hello, my name is Philip inside Ashaman, okay, and I'm watching you live on Clock TV, okay. Thank you very much for watching us, and you can send in your comments as well, and we'll gladly read. And we have the phone line displayed at the moment. It looks like a lot of people are requesting for that. Can we have the phone line displayed so that, okay. Okay, so let's take this short break. When we come back, we'll continue with the conversation, and we'll be joined by Nanaya Wasari, our sports journalist here, as he also joins us with his take on the issues we've been discussing. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. The phone line. Someone wants. And we've been having an interesting conversation here, discussing the immediate implications of the elections, and also later we'll be touching on the mood on the ground after the presentation of the State of the Nation's address by President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. I have with me Nanaia Asare joining us in the studio. He is an analyst, and he's also going to share his thoughts on what we've been discussing so far. Thank you so much for bringing in your messages, but our WhatsApp number is also open, and so you can send in your comments via our WhatsApp number, and also Facebook and YouTube as well. Our phone lines are also open. You can call and talk to us. Let us know how you feel about everything that we have been discussing so far. Now, hello, Nana.
Hi, Miriam.
Afishiapa. Amen. I thank God that you ended there, because most Ghanaians, I say no worry. I say no, I say. Yes. So we've been discussing the elections, post-election reactions, and we had 4 constituencies being contested, the seats being contested, and out of the 4, we have 3 results being declared, all in favor for the NPP, with the Ablekuma North being outstanding. Now, what are your take on the results that came out after the collation?
Okay, so let me use this opportunity to say a very big Happy New Year to all our viewers and our followers on Clock TV. It's been an awesome time. Last year was a very beautiful journey, and hopefully this year is even going to be a better one. So let's dive straight into what we were talking about. We are going to talk about the elections. So let's now talk about the nature of the elections. So generally, you could see that once again, the election was generally peaceful. You can see that it was peaceful. Barring pockets of incidents that occurred, the elections were generally peaceful. Now we've seen, as always, when I'm given the opportunity, I talk about this. Ghana's democracy has been stretched to bounds and beyond. Ghana's democracy has been.
Okay, Nana, not to cut you, we have a caller on the line, Bismarck from Newtown. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Bismarck, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Let us hear your take.
All right. My issue is got to do with how the Electoral Commission normally, after normally it's been said that election is being won at the polling station, right?
Yeah.
But after the elections been declared, the results been declared at the polling station, and now it's been transferred to the collection centers for second of. That is where we usually get the problem. You get people moving with ballot boxes, and even some conveying the ballot boxes in taxi. That is where we have the issue, that the people also are not okay with the process, and they follow up. Why is it that we don't, Electoral Commission don't really have a reform that maybe after the coalition or the results being declared at the polling station, there will be a van that will even convey with a particular police station, convey all the ballot boxes, and with a police escort, so that no citizen will follow up and say, I will not allow you to send the vote. We have even some of the boxes being bent. If police are there and they have a van with the Electoral Commissions and the polling agents in the van, being conveying all these things to the coalition centers, I don't think you see people following the Electoral Commissioners and staff sending bosses.
Yeah.
I think the Electoral Commission should come back and revise how they even send the bosses to the coalition centers. These are all reasons why we are having issues. Now, I remember even during the 7th December thing, the coalitions was the national, they have faxes. why can't they also derive a strategy that from the police station we can even find the result to the regional collection centers? Then you have to carry boxes with this now that we have digital era, then you have to carry the print sheets directly.
Right.
It's affecting our collection.
Thank you very much, Bismarck. Thank you very much. I think your point has been made very well. Thank you so much for bringing in.
But you're doing a good job. Keep it up.
Okay, thank you so much. That was Bismarck from Newtown. Nana?
So basically, Bismarck is trying to tell us that
Yeah.
their security protocols should be enhanced when it comes to safeguarding our ballot boxes. And I'm sure that the measures that are in place at the moment are what the EC seems as the best fit for that.
But do you think the EC has been transparent and credible in their doings or dealings?
So prior to this particular, prior to the day of the polls, we actually thought the EC wasn't being transparent, looking at some of their dealings, but with what they made known, or what they showcased by giving media accreditations and all that, and not restricting anyone access to any of the polling stations, making the coalition centers, not only the national one, but all regional coalition centers, all of them, making it open for everyone to actually be able to actually go and look at, not even just media personnel. It was also, you can see that they tried their possible best.
Okay, so we have another caller on the line, Godfred from Awoshi. Hello, Godfred. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, let us hear your take on our discussions.
Yeah, I would like to say the compilation is just taking time. And, they know the winners already, so they don't have to even waste time on this compilation and stuff. And I think let's have a peaceful session tomorrow. Yes. And this compilation and things is just going to bring up problems and disturb us. So they just have to forget about everything. If you win, you win. If you don't win, you just try to overcome things and try to learn that for years.
Thank you so much, Godfred. An interesting comment from Godfred.
Yes, that shows the way, but generally things of this nature should actually take time, so that when the final outcome comes, you realize that all due diligence has been made, not just that we know who was won. So we have to make sure that every angle that someone may dispute, it's actually sealed and settled, so that once it's declared, no one can come back and say that these are some of the things that.
So staying on that, Ablekuma North, we don't have ballot papers for 62 polling stations as it stands now. The NPP says they have 25 soft copies of these polling stations. NDC has none. EC has none. In your point of view, how do you think the collation is going to be done? Speaking on transparency and credibility as well.
I can only say much, but then again, the rule of law has to come into precedence when it comes to this prevalence. I mean, when it comes to this, so. According even the 3 that have been declared by the EC, we went to the High Court. The High Court gave a ruling that.
Okay, so we have Fred on the line. Hello, Fred.
Yeah, hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Fred. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, too.
Okay, so let's hear you.
Yes, my point has to do with I think like that everybody is blaming the EC for not doing it well and other things. I see the election was very smooth until people went into the coalition center and started vandalizing evidence.
Okay.
In fact, ballot boxes were destroyed in some constituencies, coalition centers, which is very bad because the EC is in this situation right now, not being able to declare those areas because some areas you have pin sheets, you are not able to find some of the pin sheets and other things.
Yeah.
And that's what is dragging this. And that's why, you see, sometimes what happened in Dechima the last time, they said people trying to invade into the coalition center and then the military has to release guns. And sometimes I will support that because what we are going through now, the amount of money, time, and we spent on that. If an armed robber is
we see armed robbers being shot because I don't know, the little thing they are going to do will be bad. What we are going to now, the amount of money, the state should tell you the amount of money the police have to go into the East Center to man the place, the allowances they will be taking will be more than what an armed robber will take and if you shot down. So please, we should, and those people should be identified because you see the blood day, the cameras, you guys have the videos. You should be showing it and advise people that it is not good.
Sure.
That's why you said if someone Kofi Wache, when he was in Ashanti region, said if you go snatching ballot box, you order is meant to shoot you. When he was the commander in Ashanti region.
Right. Thank you so much, Fred. We have other callers on the line. Thank you so much.
So let me end by this, but saying that we should blame the issue too much. Blame our own people, our brothers and sisters who invade Police Center. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fred. Nana,
yes, so,
briefly, so that we move to the next. We have a lot of things to discuss today.
So I mean, in as much as possible, that in as much as we want the right thing to be done, we shouldn't be advocating for violence and people being shot and all that. But the rule of law, once again, must prevail when it comes to these three. And the NDC, who have been the losers of, not the losers, but who have not had the ruling or the EC's verdict in their favor for these three constituencies that have been given out, have actually gone to appeal the ruling of the High Court, against the ruling of the High Court. So definitely this is not the end of the matter that
days ahead.
So the appeals court will also take the matter over, and then we'll see whether they are going to stick with the verdicts that the EC should go ahead to declare who the winners are.
But now the three have been, declared. So after the swearing in, and the results have been contested again by the NDC, is there going to be some form of changes?
Yes,
in future?
Definitely will be. So it remains to be seen whether there will be some interlocutory injunction against the three that are going to be sworn in until the appeals court finishes or hears the matter. It remains to be seen whether they are actually going to be sworn in or they are going to stand by the verdict of the High Court and swear them in, so that when the appeals court brings a contrary verdict to that particular one, then there will be maybe another arrangement by so it's interesting.
We'll have another swearing in.
But you see, there's this, within our elections, according to the law, if something happens like this after the elections and the declaration where EC has gazetted, from the day of gazetting, you have 21 days to file for electoral petition. If you don't file within the 21 days, you have no case again. And the NDC currently is wasting their own time. Instead of following Mandemos, which has already been done because the EC...
Okay, so Randolph, we'll come back to the Mandemos. But we have Karim on the line. Hello, Karim. Okay, I think we lost him. Randolph, make it brief for us.
Because the EC has already gazetted, and your time is running. And you have 21 days to file for election petition, and you are now following appeal on Mandemos, which actually has already been granted. So when you go and you are granted appeal, now the EC has already performed his duty.
By gazetting.
By completing the collation and then gazetting it. So you are wasting your time. So at the end of the day, when you are supposed to file for the petition, it will go against.
But surely you should also understand why they went for the appeal rather than actually going for the other.
The Mandemos.
So because it's against the ruling of the High Court that's mandated the EC to declare the results. Prior to that, it was in contention. So if the ruling of the High Court has done something that is contrary to what you actually believe, and then the EC in itself has declared the results, then I think the next step that the NDC thinks that it's fit to seek respite is to actually go to the appeals court to nullify the ruling of the High Court.
Yes, but that being done, the law has said very strange in this position that not even the courts can revert the gazette.
The EC has done because
the gazetting. High Court cannot reverse it. And so why are you? What I don't know the
So
legal
if they have
strategy.
anything to do, they should do it now.
This is the time
Exactly.
because even if you go and they make the ruling, High Court cannot undo the gazetting.
So there are different ways
Yeah, it's true.
to kill a cat in this particular.
Unless they would
Banana,
just want
let me
to make
ask
a
you-
point.
Let me ask you. People have asked or raised concerns about the fact that the NPP seem to be struggling to get a lot of the seats to their side. How is that going to influence, duties or rulings in Parliament?
Okay.
Because they are the mini, micro, in Parliament.
I mean, every seat counts.
Okay.
Every seat counts. Just as before we came on air, Rainbow was talking about committees of Parliament. There are various committees of Parliament that will be
Sure.
comprised of different members of Parliament.
Yeah.
So if you are not a member of Parliament, then you can't be in that particular committee, and you cannot make your voice or the voice of the constituents
Okay.
be heard in that particular regard.
So I think we have Karim back on the line, and
Okay.
I'll come back to you. Hello, Karim. Hey, Karim. You have to tell us the network you are using, of course.
So yes, there are different committees of Parliament that you need to actually make sure that although it's not going to count when it comes to simple majority, because already you know that you're in the minority.
Okay.
But even the choosing of a minority leader might actually be from these particular constituencies. So that's why
That has already been done. Afenyo Markins has been, appointed as the minority leader for the NPP.
Before they've actually sworn them into the 9th Parliament.
Yes,
that's
that's from the National Leadership Council of the party. They proposed that
so they have appointed him, but he's not officially been sworn in.
Exactly. But Nana, let's also talk about the independent candidates in Parliament. Now, the NPP, some members of the NPP caucus have advised the independent candidates not to join any side, or they should just be independent. Now, that is contrary to...
Where was this advice?
I saw it online. My producers will...
he's asking another
where was this advice when the NPP were the ones who actually needed...
Exactly.
the
So I wanted to say that
independent
is in contrary to what they said some years ago.
Yes.
What's your take on that?
So it's very straightforward here because these people were elected based on individual statuses.
Yeah.
They didn't go for the votes of the people because they were affiliated to a political party. Now, the people in your constituency have shown faith in you because you are an individual or an independent candidate. They are not affiliating, or let's say they've not shown faith in, because mind you, there were individuals who were representing that different political parties, and they wanted you to join.
It's true.
But you stood as independent, and then they elected you in. And another thing that I want to take it as, the law mandates that the independent candidates, if they are in Parliament, should caucus. So now, in terms of the caucus, now what we would want to actually see is the independent candidates caucusing not based on political affiliations or political parties, but caucusing on issues. For instance, if there's a bill that is going to be passed, now these independent candidates can be a true reflection of the ordinary Ghanaian because they are not affiliated to any political party. And they should actually see the things as neutral as it could be. So they are sort of going to be the spectacles of the ordinary Ghanaian in Parliament. So if they should caucus, or the law mandates that they should caucus. So if they are caucusing, then they shouldn't caucus based on political affiliations, but rather based on topical issues or issues of concern, so that they reflect the faith that the people have entrusted in them as independent candidates.
Okay, Randolph, let's touch on the last issue for this segment, and then we'll move out from there. Yesterday, in a press statement, we saw that President-elect John Dramani Mahama has mandated the NDC MPs to appoint or retain Honorable Alban Bagman, who is the Speaker of Parliament for the 8th Parliament, as that's for the 9th Parliament. What is your take? Briefly, I know you'll be going deep into that in the evening, but what's your take on that?
Well, so I think constitutionally, it is not right. just as I said earlier, yes, constitutionally, it is not right.
Okay.
But we had same when what's his name, the former speaker.
Yes, I understand.
But then it was done.
We can't be repeating mistakes. Just like I said.
One thing about the. Okay, I don't want to really make it look like an affiliation.
No,
so
but
just make your point.
These things set precedent.
Yes,
it's true.
So but then, I understand. My point is that, just as I said, I mean, the minority, the party going to say, we are choosing your leadership from the party office for you in parliament, when their parliament is there for them to choose their own leadership to lead and be able to governize. It makes, you see, when it's happened that way, it makes politics, there is an internal politics that is also generated at the parliamentary level. But then the parliament is actually the legislative part of our governance system, which must be guided. If we're able to put it together and give them that independence needed, it will help our democracy.
Marindo, all these people are politicians before they...
Yes, but then that is how we are growing as a country.
Okay.
If we do certain things that is wrong to a stage, we should be able to come back to say, no, we are going in a wayward aspect. We have done that. That is why, in fact, executive now controls the legislative. Is that how the constitution made it? No.
That's not the way it's supposed to be.
Yes, but now that is how it is.
We also saw similar concerns being raised when the Fomena MP was made deputy speaker. That was from the other, the MPP.
I spoke against it.
It wasn't from Parliament as well. So
I spoke against it.
Randolph, let me come back to your point. You see, this decision by the National Leadership Council of the party, it is mandated. It is their mandate to appoint the minority in parliament for their party because, as I said earlier, these people are politicians before they become parliamentarians.
I understand. It's a vehicle.
Yes. So,
but when you go there, just like when you go to parliament as an MP, you now don't go in the name of NPP, NDC.
Okay.
You go in the name of the entire constituency.
Okay.
So you are representing the constituency in parliament. So when you then come to parliament, just like the independents, you went on the ticket that I'm an independent. I have my own mindset or my own belief, and I believe that I can be independent in fighting your whatever for you. So people who do not believe in the party affiliations voted for you. And then now you go to parliament to say, now I belong to NDC, I belong to NPP. Where is your independence? So you've betrayed your people. Why don't you be independent and fight for the right things? You see, you can be 4 or 5 caucus, but then you'll be louder and be able to dictate the pace. And people will now believe and trust you.
So are you saying at the party level, these people are not together? Is that what
I understand them? They are all together. But when you get to parliament, in order to help our institution, you see, we have the legislative, we have the executive, and now we are all fighting that people are saying, judiciary is bought by the executive is controlling, and it is affecting our democracy. Why are they not saying the same thing to the parliament? So we should be able to structure our democracy, our systems well, so that they can have that power to help our system.
Exactly. Nana, let's take your thoughts on the topic I raised with regards to Alban Gbagben's appointments or proposed appointments by the president.
Let's roll back the years a little. Let's go to 2016.
Okay.
2020 even. Let's not go too far.
Yeah.
2020, we had members of Parliament of the MPP actually saying that Alban Gbagben is such a fine gentleman of the land and his political experience that he's garnered shouldn't go to waste. So we had Osei Mensah Bonsu. We had the likes of Katie Hammond even advocating for him to be Speaker of Parliament. And that is very, very rare.
That is within their parliament.
I understand.
They choose their own leadership. So they have the right to say that. But when the directive comes from the political parties instructing them, per law, it is the political, the MPs who are supposed to elect their own leadership.
So this is like an advice.
No, it's a mandate.
No, there are checks and balances.
Okay.
And in as much as possible, you, as the president-elect, you know the people that you can actually work with freely.
Yeah.
So it is not as though you are coercing or you are forcing people to tell them that don't vote for any other person, but vote for in Parliament choose Alban Bagbin to be. That's not what he's saying. What he's saying is that I will be most comfortable working with Alban Bagbin based on his experience and based on his exposure. And he's not even the only one saying that. You can see that even members of the NPP actually also agree with his assertion.
As a surprise at all.
So yes,
a lot of people anticipated
he is saying that, but he is not the one going to cast the ballot in Parliament for you.
Yeah.
So what he's actually saying is that my preference would be that Alban Bagbin stays Speaker of Parliament, because maybe he has a good working relationship with him, and they go back together. So I don't think there's any foul.
Now let me ask you, Honorable Alban Bagbin also came out to express his gratitude to President-elect for such a mandation or mandatory act. But I want to know, how is Honorable Alban Bagbin going to really work independently if he is being elected? Because looking at where this influence is coming from, definitely it is from the executive that is going to
another arm of government.
How is he going to work independently if he is being appointed or elected?
If
briefly, so that Randolph makes his point and we go for the shot.
Well, you look at the character of the man, Honorable Alban Bagbin, and then you look at some of the decisions that the NDC took that he stood against. Some of the declarations, even in Parliament, or the 8th Parliament, and you realize that he's not someone that can be easily swayed by, let's say, affiliations and assertions of people and whatnot.
He is a member of the NDC, right?
He was a member of the NDC, and I think Alban Bagbin.
He is still a member.
But now we don't really know.
But at the moment, we all know that he was a member of the NDC before he became Speaker of Parliament.
Yeah, he has actually not denounced his membership.
That's okay. Michael Kwe did not also denounce his membership.
Yes.
And these are things that are there that are
just make
clear.
your point.
So what I'm saying is that based on past experiences and the way he's worked with the 8th Parliament, and how even though he worked, let's say, being in opposition, and then you can say that the people in power, the majority then in Parliament, were actually saying that we shouldn't lose such a fine, that's the majority leader, such a fine person like Alban Bagbin in the Parliament. So that should actually tell you the kind of job that he's going to do. And he's one person that when it comes to integrity in Parliament,